Good afternoon, everyone. We're in afternoon today. It is April 20th, and I am here on the Phoenix National Network. And our whole message this couple of weeks is going to be, it's going to be Entrepreneur Week. So we are going to be talking about being an entrepreneur. And my subject today is, do you have a plan B? And so before we're going to go into what plan B is in entrepreneurism, I'd really like to talk about what an entrepreneur is. We're looking at the dictionary. The entrepreneur says a person who organizes and operates a business, taking on greater than normal financial risk in order to do so. So that is the book definition of an entrepreneur, someone that takes more than normal financial risk. But that was written way before 2021 and the internet and the gig economy. So we'll be talking about that. Two types of entrepreneurs. There's a born entrepreneur. That'd be like somebody like Laurie Stye, who's been an entrepreneur her whole life. You probably know somebody like that. They, as a kid, they had a newspaper route, or they sold stuff in school, some stuff that shouldn't be sold in school, but they were always making money on their own. And then you have the other type of entrepreneur, which is a made entrepreneur, which would be me. Made entrepreneurs are people that are either curious about how it is to run a business and be their own boss, and people that are forced to be entrepreneurs, which is me. The place that I worked for, basically went bankrupt, and they said, you're off on your own, find a way to make some money. Unfortunately, the job that I had was a very technical job, and it isn't even done in this country anymore. So I would have to move out of the country to actually do the job I was doing. So I was forced to look into becoming an entrepreneur. Now, people that know me know that I'm always prepared. And was I prepared with a plan B? Sort of. And like I said, the people that know me know I'm prepared. Used to be a Boy Scout, and I always have this with me, which is a knife, a bottle opener, a glass breaker, a seatbelt cutter, flashlight, and a way to start a fire. I have that with me because I'm prepared. So being prepared to be an entrepreneur, why is that important? Because there's really no guarantees with a job. There's no guarantee being an entrepreneur either, but as an entrepreneur, you will learn skills that you can take to a different business. So what's going on right now? Why do you need a plan B? First is automation. We are losing jobs at a huge rate because jobs are being taken over by AI. They're being taken over, and you've seen it. There are no more toll booths around. You just drive right through. Nobody's taking money. You go to the bank and they're replacing actual tellers with robotic tellers. You just go there and hit the ATM machine. You can do pretty much anything you want to do there at the bank without the teller. Self-driving cars, self-driving trucks are coming up. That's in the very near future. So if your plan B is being an Uber driver, when these cars come out, now even your plan B is gone. So there are a lot of problems on trying to create income in the 21st century. Things are changing so quickly. And that's just automation. Let's talk about the pandemic. 40 million people in 3 months lost their jobs like that through no fault of their own, but that's what's going on. That's what the economy is all about. So there was a book that I read years ago called What Color is Your Parachute? And what that book did was it was a series of exercise to find out what was the best job for you. And the reason it's called What Color is Your Parachute is before you jump out of a plane, before you leave one job to go to another job, know what color your parachute is. Know that you have a parachute so you can jump from one job to another. But that's not applying so much now because of the way the economy is. You're not jumping from job to job. You're jumping from job to job until you can find a way to create some income on your own. So one of the ways to do it is to become an entrepreneur. Now, there's a good, the bad, and the ugly about becoming an entrepreneur. Let's go with the good. The good is you can write your own paycheck. You can say, I'm going to give myself a raise tomorrow by selling some more of whatever widget I have to sell tomorrow and raise my income. The other great thing about being an entrepreneur, and even if you're a home-based entrepreneur, is the tax advantages. Courtney Epps wrote a book called More Relaxing, Less Taxing about being an entrepreneur and using the tax system to save yourself a lot of money. And then she wrote a follow-up book to that, which is What's Your Plan B? How, and the subtitle is Why You Would Be Brain Dead Not to Own a Home-Based Business. And in the gig economy, home-based businesses are the lifesaver for a lot of people. The reason she wrote that book is she was a tax planner, and one of her longtime clients suddenly became a 1099 business owner. He started a business out of his house. She found out she was able to save him $4,000 in taxes. He wasn't even profitable that first year, but he had the tax deduction of automobile expense, home office use expense, phone, meals, everything that an entrepreneur could write off. Because let's face it, the tax system is made for the entrepreneur. It's not made for Joe Lunchbucket that's going to work 9 to 5. One of the things I found out after I lost my job, I started doing some research, and one of the people I started reading, and it was important for me, was Cash Flow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki, who also wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So Rich Dad, Poor Dad led me to the Cash Flow Quadrant. And in the Cash Flow Quadrant, he says there are 4 quadrants. You're an employee, you're self-employed, you're a business owner, or you're an investor. So those are the only 4 ways there are to create income. And that started me on the journey of what can I do? How can I be an entrepreneur? How do I start using the system for myself? So the bad part about being an entrepreneur is what they said was financial risk. But that was before the gig economy. Financial risk, mostly what they talked about was a brick and mortar business. You have an idea, it's a great idea. So you manufacture this, you put a storefront together and you try to sell your product there. That's the way business has been done forever. But now you have what? The pandemic hit. People can't come to your store. That is a problem. Second way to become a business owner is buy a franchise. Franchise is a lot better because even though there's a lot of money up front, it takes some time to get that money back. At least you're in a franchise that has a system of production. They have a name out there. They do all the advertising for you. So you have, let's say, a McDonald's. Great thing to do. You buy a McDonald's, then what happens? The pandemic hits. Now people are not coming into the store. Plan B, start using Grubhub and these guys to deliver food. Now you kind of ride out the pandemic that way. Third way of going into business for yourself is the multi-level marketing, network marketing, or direct to consumer businesses. There are really good ones, there are really bad ones. And unfortunately, the really bad ones make the news. Those are the pyramid ones that people buy thousands of dollars, put it in their garage and try to sell it to their friends and neighbors. So that kind of business it's 3 types. One is a product-driven, actually two types, product-driven business. There are products that are sold, that are manufactured and sold to consumers. And then there's the service-driven business that's also a network marketing. And that's a service like Youre has, which you don't produce a product, you sell a service. You're the middleman for that service, which is fantastic. And producing that requires no inventory and pretty much very little risk. So you're lowering that risk, the financial risk. In my business, you can get started for $99, and the whole system is already set up for success. Just people have to follow it. The biggest problem with a multi-level marketing business is 90% of people that start it don't make any money, because for the same reason that if they had a job and did the amount of work in their job that they did in their business, they would get fired. Since you don't have a boss, you do whatever you want. And if you're not trained to be an entrepreneur, you don't know what you have to put up front. Everybody thinks, oh yeah, I'm going to get in, I'm going to make $1 million. I'm going to tell my boss to go take a hike. It doesn't work that way. There's a lot of work involved, and there's a lot of learning involved. The ugly part is what I'm going to talk about is the school system that we have. The school system, several people said, I believe it was George Carlin said, they teach you to be smart enough to push the buttons at work, but not smart enough to ask why. They want, as someone says, very, very good employees. So the school system that was made after the Industrial Revolution, the way we're looking at it now, is to build good employees or soldiers, not to become an entrepreneur. This is something you have to learn on your own if you're not a natural entrepreneur. There are thousands of books out there. I probably have about 900 of them. And one of the things you want to do if you want to become an entrepreneur, you have a job, you have a great job, it's steady, but in the cash flow quadrant, your job is a trading hours for dollars type of thing. And even if you're a surgeon, and this happened to a family member, they were about to get surgery, and a week before they got called up and said, I can't do the surgery. I fell and I broke my wrist. I have to give you to a different surgeon. So if you're relying on your ability to perform to make money, that is, you're looking at a problem later on down the line. So what does one do if, all right, I have a job, I need to get a business going, I don't know what to do. There are great books. One is The 10% Entrepreneur. And the 10% Entrepreneur says, keep your job. Your job is great. It's giving you a steady income. But take 10% of your time and start to build a business. And that compound effect of building a business builds money on the back end. So Rich Dad, Poor Dad teaches that the reason he had to self-publish was he said 4 truths that were savers or losers. And I'll just give you 2. The second one is your home is not an asset. Your home is a liability. And all of that, the financial illiteracy in this country is incredible. I'm an immigrant. We came from Argentina, and we see people coming to this country and starting businesses where people that are born here don't realize the opportunity this country has. So they take it for granted, and they'll scream, oh, I'm not being treated fairly because some guy came over and started a business and is taking business away from other people. But this is the land of opportunity. Let's use it for what it is. So as I was talking about, the educational system is not set up for us to learn how to be an entrepreneur. If you went to school, the last thing you wanted to do was fail. You imagine you got a D or an F, you're the laughing stock of the class, where the A students get all the recognition. It's completely opposite as an entrepreneur. As I found out, you need to fail a lot. You need to fail forward. You have to be Edison to find out how many times you can't build a light bulb until you find the right way. So that whole mindset of becoming an entrepreneur is a slow process. The longer you've been an employee and been through the school system, the longer it takes to undo that damage. One book I recommend for that, Steve Siebold wrote a book, How Rich People Think. Rich people don't think like poor people. rich people think money is out there and it's available for me to have. And once I have it, what I need to do with that money is invest it and put it to work. When people say, yeah, make your money and save it, that money is not working. That's the way people stay poor. Their money is not invested. Their money is not working for them. It's sitting in a bank that's loaning it out and getting great interest, and you get nothing for it. So one of the things you learn as an entrepreneur, great book by Brian Carruthers, Money Mindset, which is what to do once you start getting extra money. So a little extra money is good. A lot of extra money is great, but start with a little bit of extra money. What you're learning as an entrepreneur, and let's say in a network marketing business, is how to run a business. Let's say you actually want to build, you want a franchise, you want a brick and mortar building, and you're starting from scratch. Start with a multi-level marketing company, with a network marketing company. Learn what finances are, learn how to keep books, learn how to talk to people, learn how to manage a group of people. Take that you've learned and bring it to the business you want to do. These businesses are not made, they could be, but they're not made to be the end all. Like, I'm going to do this the rest of my life. You're going to use this to learn and then work on what you want to work on. The last book I will talk about is, again, keep going back to Robert Kiyosaki, writes great books, The Business of the 21st Century. We are now in the gig economy. You can start your own business in an hour. There are businesses out there that are already, everything is all set up. What you need to do is find a business that provides something that people need. Right now, what I'm doing is providing people with the identity theft and legal services that people have been priced out of. And now we have a whole new identity theft for businesses that launched yesterday. So everything is going really, really well. The second thing you're looking for when you want to start a business is their track record for education. What is their educational system? What do you have to do to learn to get from where you are to the next step? How many people are involved in helping you get to that next step? The great thing about a network marketing business is it's people helping people. We are not competing with each other. I'm in a marketing group, Master Networks, and it's business owners all around the country. And I found 4 other people that do what I do in Master Networks. And we don't compete with each other. We are forming a mastermind group to help each other grow as a group. We at Legal Shield right now, I believe, has about 4 million people that they're protecting, and there's 325 million people in the country. So it's not like we're running out of people to help. So that mastermind group that you get in a network marketing business is huge, because we're all doing the same thing, but we all live in different states and different boroughs, but we're learning from each other. So that mastermind group comes from probably the most important book that you'll ever read if you want to get out of the 9 to 5, learn to be an entrepreneur, is the book, the classic Think and Grow Rich. And this is the Think and Grow Rich workbook, which actually takes what you learn in Think and Grow Rich and puts it down on paper and exercises that you can do to build on that. So I'm going to keep this production really short. Next week, I will talk more about Legal Shield and how it works for us. But this today is just an overview of why you need a plan B. And you need a plan B because there are no guarantees in life. And that's what we're up against in 2021. Hopefully it'll be better than 2020, but we don't know. So we need something to fall back on in order to be safe financially and mentally as we go ahead. Thank you for your time. We'll talk soon.